$898 million. That, according to a newly released congressional report, is how much the U.S. Navy is asking Congress to allot in fiscal year 2025 for the carrier-based aerial refueling system. That number would greenlight the procurement of 3 MQ-25 Stingrays, marking the start of low-rate initial production from the folks at Boeing Defense. And that all brings us to this week's Comms Check. Back in 2016, the Navy decided to scrap its unmanned carrier-launched surveillance and strike program for the carrier-based aerial refueling system, or what came to be known as the MQ-25 Stingray, essentially an airborne gas station. The Navy said the MQ-25 would relieve FA-18EF Super Hornet fighters from having to conduct air-to-air refueling missions for carrier air wings. Fast forward nearly a decade, and the Stingray is getting closer to becoming a reality.
Those aircraft in final assembly also represent us transitioning into the bespoke factory specifically designed for MQ-25, over 300,000 square foot of Henry Ford manufacturing production line. And so what that is going to do for us and the Navy is take us to ground test here soon. That'll lead into getting back in the air this fall. So first flight since we've done the last flights with the prototype that we talked about, I think, last year. And that'll roll into testing the aircraft on the aircraft carrier next year. And the intent for that, for the Air Boss, Vice Admiral Cheever, who was speaking about this here at Sierra Space, is to start deploying in 2027.
John Scuti is Boeing's business development lead and advanced capabilities director. He says the timing for the next step in the Stingray's development could not be much better.
You might have heard Secretary of the Navy talking about shipbuilding. Same thing in aviation, right? And so this is kind of the vanguard for autonomous platforms. The Navy is looking to us to have those autonomous behaviors and get the aircraft airborne to work on manned-unmanned teaming and interface with manned platforms, but also to lead that charge with some of the other things that we're doing for 5th, 6th gen aircraft that you might have also seen in the press here recently as well.
It's that eye on the future that Scuti says is driving much of what's happening with not only the MQ-25, but the Department of Defense and America's allies.
Having the ability to have this platform be the centerpiece and facilitate manned platforms in a different way by presenting sensors forward, maybe in a contested environment, those sorts of things, because that's one of the reasons why you have an unmanned aircraft. Getting those dirty, dangerous, and boring missions out of the way so the manned platforms can do their work in other domains or collaboratively is really important. And that collaboration is going to then help facilitate how we, naval aviation enterprise, and even Air Force and other air forces start to work together in that manned-unmanned trust to have all of the assets to be able to deter and defend.
If all goes to plan and the Navy gets what it's asking for from Congress, the MQ-25 program includes a total of 76 aircraft, 67 for operational needs, with an additional 9 designated for testing and development.